Check it. In part 3 of this school choice series, we turn to the leverage that teachers have. Teachers have leverage over the school system if they understand the powers they possess. Now, when I refer to teachers, I'm not specifically talking about the sage on the stage. Especially with the pandemic, there have been other forms of teaching, such as online tutoring, online courses, and other accepted forms of teaching these days. There's a level of bureaucracy in the public education system that is deemed protectionist. And as long as you are lockstep with the bureaucracy, then you seek to benefit from the protectionism. You benefit from protection of your job. You benefit with protectionism of your benefits, such as your retirement. And if you want to break rank, then take heed of George Orwell's advice. If you want to see a vision of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. And this is something that teachers fear, is being stamped on their face for breaking ranks and going against the bureaucracy. But teachers have extreme amounts of leverage in this world of school choice, because if there's an opportunity that they see that they could benefit and provide value to a student, and if the educational dollars follow the student, there's a whole world to unlock of entrepreneurial educational activity in the world of school choice. Again, let's hear from Neal McCluskey of the Cato Institute.
People who work in public schools are regular people. There's no evidence that they're better or worse than anybody else. There tends to be a feeling when people talk about school choice, if you work for the public schools, you feel attacked. And I can understand why that is. But school choice isn't really an attack on people. It's about a system. And there are lots of people in public schools, probably all of them, are trying to do good, are trying to do the right thing. So this really shouldn't be seen as a condemnation of them. And we work in the system that we have. And the reality is most education is from a public school system because they get your money, whether you like it or not. And so people who want to be educators, that's typically where they go because that's where the education mainly happens. So we want to go to, we want to change the system. We want to talk about the system, not sort of blame the people in it. But the system would actually work better for teachers if there were more school choice. For one thing, teachers are often very unhappy.
Hold on here. Hold on here, Neal. Okay, now we're getting somewhere here. So you're saying if now, let's say the one side is failing to understand the benefits to them of school choice, now you are going to be laying out an argument for them.
That's right. So the first thing is teachers would have more authority, more autonomy in a private school system, a private education system. It doesn't only have to be about schools. It could be tutoring. It could be, you could deliver lots of online education, lots of different ways. But educators would be a lot more empowered if they weren't part of big bureaucracies. And that's what school districts have to be. They have to be big bureaucracies. Now, you can go to some states that have smaller districts, some states with big districts, but they're still bureaucratic. And because you're talking about a system we require everyone to pay for, the accountability is almost always top down. That's why you ended up with No Child Left Behind that said to every public school in every state, you have to have standardized testing that's uniform in your state for math, reading, and science, and you will be held accountable based on those standardized test scores. And a lot of teachers hated that because they know education is a lot more than just a standardized test score. But a public schooling system leaves people who are dissatisfied basically no choice but to go to the next higher level of government when they're unhappy to say, please force them to do what I think they should be doing. And so teachers would be better off in that they'd have more freedom. And there is research that suggests teachers would actually get paid better with more choice because basically they are not dealing with a monopoly employer, called a monopsony usually. But in other words, you want the job, you've got to go to the school district. you don't have other options. And so that school district has a lot of leverage over you. If you could go other places, you'd have more leverage over potential employers, and they would have to pay you more. And so that would be a big benefit to teachers too. But there is a problem that's been pretty well established, that people get much more animated and energized about something if they're afraid they're going to lose than if they think they could gain. And so
yeah.
teachers, unions, other opponents of school choice will often say, if there's school choice, they'll tell regular people that'll be money that leaves your public schools, and your public schools will be really handicapped, and so it's going to be terrible. They're saying you're going to lose something, and that usually is more persuasive than, hey, but you could gain the ability to choose something else. You gain freedom. Same thing applies to teachers. Many teachers, I think, feel and fear that they will lose the position that they have now, that they may not be totally happy with, but they may be sort of comfortable enough. They don't want to fear that they could lose that, something that they've come to depend on. And so it's very hard to get people to say, okay, I'm going to give up what I feel kind of secure with to try something new that may be better.